The time is 7:03 p.m. Good evening. The news headline. Breaking. Troops apprehend high-profile Bøkøhārrām terrorists. The Nigerian troops of Operation Hadin Kai (OPHK) have arrested a high-profile Bøkøhārrām member on wanted list in the recent operations on the terrorist hideout in parts of the northeast. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyeama disclosed this in a statement on Thursday in Abuja. Onwachukwu said troops of Sector 2 (OPHK) arrested the wanted terrorist Yawi Modu and his cohorts along Dambuwa Wajiroko Road. He also disclosed that the troops raided the terrorists' improvised explosive devices (IEDs) materials up in Dambuwa and Gashua local government areas of Borno and Yobe State respectively during their operations. These ISWAP criminals, facing the reality of obvious depletion, are desperately acquiring IED materials to make explosive devices with which to unleash terror on innocent civilians in a bid to remain relevant and present a posture of potency. In the sting operation conducted, a total of 281 50 kg bags of urea were recovered from the warehouses in the market, and 2 notorious distributors were also arrested. Recall that urea fertilizer has been banned by governments because of its use as a major component for manufacturing IED by terrorists. The suspects and materials recovered are currently undergoing preliminary investigation, he said. And the news analysis is simple. Sequence to the insecurity issue in the country, where a whole lot of prominent figures have been complaining about the insecurity, saying that the federal government needs to pep up their doings so as to address the level of insecurity by aggressively reinforcing their military arms and their security agencies. And as a result of this, it happens to be a good news again thereabout, because the Nigerian troops of Operation Hadin Kai (OPHK) have said to have allegedly arrested a high-profile Bøkøhārrām member on the wanted list in recent raid operations on terrorist hideouts in the parts of the northeast. And the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyeama disclosed this in a statement on a Thursday in Abuja, where he said that the troops of Sector 2 of the Operation Hadin Kai has actually arrested Yawi Modu and his cohorts along Dambuwa Wajiroko. This Yawi Modu is actually said to be one of the Bøkøhārrām members that has been on the wanted list, and they disclosed that while they bombarded their hideouts in some part of the northeast, they said that they discovered some improvised explosive devices known as IED, and the materials up in Dambuwa and Gashua local government areas of Borno and Yobe State respectively during their operations. And these ISWAP criminals, facing the reality of obvious depletion, are desperately acquiring IED materials to make explosive devices with which to unleash terror on innocent civilians in a bid to remain relevant and present a posture of potency. We know that these bandits have actually been causing a whole lot of havoc for residents, commuters, and even citizens of the nation. And prominent figures have actually been complaining about this, that the federal government needs to look for a way around this to help address the level of which these bad eggs are actually operating in the country. There was a time that even the Sultan of Sokoto discussed about the way that these terrorists are operating, kidnapping a whole lot of prominent figures, and those that cannot pay the ransom, they meet their karma, they kill them, and those that can meet up with the ransom, they collect a very huge amount of money from them. And this is becoming a very serious matter that needs a whole lot of urgency. And these prominent figures have been begging that the federal government needs to look for an advanced way to quickly address this this act of terrorism, so as to resist the bandits that are operating within all these axes, especially in the northeast, because these people are actually killing innocent citizens, and it is affecting the economy, because once corruption is eating the country, and as well as terrorism, then undoubtedly it will actually affect the economy of the country. And that is why they've actually said that the present regime of Muhammadu Buhari should fulfill their campaign, their promise during the campaign election, that they will respect the rights and freedom of Nigerians, and also that they will protect the lives and property of every citizens of Nigeria. And all these things are on record, and the citizens are looking forward to see how the administration will justify these promises, so that it will not destroy the reputation of the country outside, because of recent, even the UK has warned their citizens to be very careful in Nigeria, especially in some part of the country, Kaduna, Borno, Yobe, and the likes like that. And for us to avert this disaster that these armed herders, bandits, and other terrorists have brought upon the nation, then the military needs to rise on their feet to make sure that they protect the lives and properties of the people, and deal very well with these terrorists that are inflicting the country, because the level of insecurity in the land is actually worrisome. And there is need to identify and demystify the so-called unknown gunmen who are raiding the communities and institutions and killing unarmed citizens, and also abducting a whole number of them, because the only people that can help out in demystifying and unraveling this so-called unknown gunmen are only the intelligence agency, and they need to be proactive and think ahead of these bandits, because in Sokoto alone there was a day that about 76 persons were buried and killed in cold blood, and by these criminals that no one knows where they are from. And there was a particular day that they even buried about 48 persons the same day in Sokoto, but people won't hear about this, and it has been the reason why a whole lot of people have been lamenting on the security status of the country. And it is quite interesting now that one of those people that are on the high list of the security agencies as one of the Bøkøhārrām member, and has been taken down, and a whole lot of materials that they are using, like the urea that they are using in making explosives, all these things were retrieved from these people, and they are actually currently undergoing preliminary investigation. And it is very commendable to say that the Director Army, the army generally, and the Operation Adinkai OPHK are doing a very good job, but yet they need to do more, and that is actually true. So we commend them for having done a good job by discovering the hideout of these people and arresting one of their strong member of the Bøkøhārrām. The time